Welcome back, everyone. So today has been an amazing day. Actually, an amazing past few days for Bitcoin. Remember our last post? We said it was decision time for Bitcoin. And we have had a bit of a decision, haven't we? So we're going to recap to talk about what happened. To see, there are a few trades you could have entered, actually. At least two trades you could have entered in my absence. We're going to talk about those two. And we're going to plan for the rest of the week. Today is Monday, I believe. So, new week. And we're looking forward to great opportunities in the market. So first things first, let's have a big shout out to anyone who was followed over the weekend. So shout out to Yanga Jubase. Shout out to Yanga Jubase too. Shout out to Incept Invest. And I think shout out to Darshan. I think Darshan is from last week. So we shout you out again. And welcome to the family. Hope you guys are finding these videos useful. If you are, give it a boost, share it. I'm on YouTube as well, so hit me up there. So yeah, let's get straight into the price action. Now, Bitcoin has done exactly what we expected it to do. Well, we had several scenarios, didn't we? So we can't exactly say it's done exactly what we expected, but we can say it's done what we anticipated and what we planned for. Now, whether you enter that trade or not, that's your problem. Whether you capitalize off of that signal or not, that's your problem. But if you did, congratulations. Big congrats. And we're going to talk through what's happened. Well, as we are here, what we can see here is we've been talking about this for a while. A, we've said Bitcoin has been raging for over 200 days. B, we've said this market structure looks to sort of be tending down as we can see it. C, we said we've got this trend line that is likely going to retest. All right. And we would like to see what happens at that retest. D, we said we've also got some supply over there. We had a daily and then we had the internal 12 hours. All right. Where are we now? So we've got D. E, we've also said that we're in this internal range. Okay, we're in this internal range, and this could potentially be our retracement for further continuation down. All right, so we've had lots of different narratives taking place with the current price action. But as of last post, I said this is a very pivotal point for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has to decide what it's going to do here. Okay, and it's made its as we can see there, like it says, decision time for Bitcoin, and it's made its decision. Okay, now let's talk about how we could have entered trades in that region. How we could have entered some trades in that region. So first things first, I believe there was a long scalp potentially at play. So if we zoom in, I'm going to zoom straight into the 24-minute. We're not going to focus too much on higher time frame analysis here because we've got lots of interesting lower time frame stuff to talk about. Now, I'm going to minimize these. I'm just going to minimize. I'm actually going to get rid of this. I'm going to minimize these and get rid of that because I want us to make this chart as clear as possible. As clear as possible. So as of the last post, I think it was I think we were around here. So we're just quickly gonna rewind and go back there. So we were around here perhaps. Were we here? I think we're around there, okay? All right. So what we're gonna see what Bitcoin has been up to is that obviously Bitcoin has been trending up, creating high highs and high lows. And if I drop to the 2 hour, we can see that all the way from this bottom here, we've had a high, low, high, low, high. Okay. Now within this last expansion leg, we've had nothing but an uptrend. High, high, higher low, higher high, higher low, all the way up. Okay. So now that brings us to this region. The narrative was, if we recap, I think it was in the last video. So if you go to the last video, the narrative was, if we consider this trend line, this is a trend line that we can see here. That's the same black trend line. And I simply said, hey, just look at the market structure as we tap that trend line. If we get a flip as we approach that trend line, there's no reason why you should not throw at least 1% on that trade. At least 1% on that trade. Okay. And we got exactly what we were looking out for. We got a nice transition in market structure. We got a nice juicy retracement, and we got a beautiful follow through after. Okay, so we'll just have a look at that in a second. But before that, there was a trade in this range that we were talking about. So as of last stream, we talked about this range, this blue range, didn't we? Okay, So we talked about this blue range that we were in. So this is as of, let's say, the 19th of October. Okay. We said that we're in this blue range, and because we're in this blue range, we said we're going to look for range deviations at the range high and at the range low. Okay. So these make for our range model one plays. Now, if I teach you or you're part of, the group, now this is something you are familiar with, range model one play. But did we get a range model one play? No, we didn't. A range model one play would have been if price came down here, okay, swept this, and perhaps deviated that range low and headed towards that range high. That would have been a nice trade, at least maybe 4-5x. Okay, with that one. But we didn't quite get that. We did not get that. What we got instead was a range model 2 play. And a range model 2 play simply when price doesn't quite make it to the range extreme. Price doesn't quite have the juice to get to the range extreme. Instead, it simply reacts from a demand zone in discount or a supply zone in premium. Okay. And that's exactly what we saw here. So if we look at this market structure on the way down, let's get rid of this fixed volume tool for now. If we simply trace this market structure from the range high to the range low, we have, low, low, followed by low, high, followed by lower, low, followed by lower, high, followed by lower, low. Now, for those of you who have been here for a while, and there are some of you who watch these streams religiously, and some of you who know exactly what I'm about to say, if you do, great. But I'm pretty sure people like, let's see. Someone, we get a few recurrent boosters. This guy, this person. Now, this person is someone who's very astute and watches pretty much every video. I'm pretty sure they know exactly what I'm about to say. So that's FPIN no TO. Like, hey, listen, man, my pronunciation of these names are probably the worst you find on TradingView. But anyways, this person, they like a lot of the content and they watch a lot of the content. So what I will say is that they probably know exactly what I'm about to say. What am I about to say? I'm about to say what we're seeing here is a nice little range. Not only do we have a nice range that developed here, we also got a nice Trinity Model 1, where we got tap number 1 at the low, tap number 2 at the low, and tap number 3 at the low, with each tap trading successively lower than the prior tap. Tap number 3 resulted in a break in structure, as we can see. Bang, we get that flip in structure. Now, where did that flip take place? Now, that flip took place right about here. So if we draw that across and say, yep, that's the flip there. What do we expect after a flip? We expect a nice retracement. Where did it retrace to? Well, it retraced into demand. Look at that beautiful retracement. All right. So it retraced into demand and off we go. Boom. All right. So that would have been a nice trade. Very nice trade for those of you who are watching the chart at that point. So very, very juicy trade. So congrats if you took that one. Now, what did price do after that? Well, after that, price decided, well, I'm heading for that trend line. Let's put this on a 2 hour or 1 hour so you can see it clearly. Don't forget, the trend line I'm referring to is this massive mammoth of a trend line, this guy over here, all right? It's been respected once. It's been respected. Well, if we move it down, it's kind of been respected. Well, we can say based on the way I've edited it, it's been respected once already, and it's potentially getting tested again. But if you drag it further down, if you say maybe this is your trend line, okay, you can argue, well, this region as a whole. So we can say, okay, perhaps consider this as your resistance. This whole region as a whole. Well, that region has been tested once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and this is the 5th time. Okay, if we're considering that region as a whole. But regardless, we're looking to see what price does here. So what we do then is go, okay, we're on a 15-minute now. We're on a 15-minute. We've zoomed in because we don't want to enter on the 18-hour or the 12-hour. Be here for ages. We're on the 15-minute now. And let's see, what did price do as it approached that trend line, that infamous trend line we're looking out for? What did price do? What price created, let's trace it as we go up. So from the range low, we've got higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high at the moment, okay? Now, obviously, we were looking at the top of this range to see if we were going to get a flip in market structure or deviation there for a short, but did we get that? Well, we didn't. If we got that, it would look something like this. We would need to at least break structure here, retrace, and then flush that down. But did we get that? No. So should we be in a trade there? No. All right, remember, no change, no trade. We're waiting for confirmations all the time. So as we carry on, excuse me, as we carry on, we create some more market structure. We have another high, as we can see up here. Okay, maybe I should make this thickness 2, and then we've got another high low. Okay, boom. So now we have officially got we've tagged that trend line, haven't we? Officially tagged that trend line. So what did Price decide to do next? Well, Price decided to have another go at breaking up that trend line. All right, it decides to have another go at it. So it creates, an SFP. Can we see that? So we get a nice SFP here. Let's just tidy this up slightly. So we get a nice SFP here. If we drop to the 12 minute perhaps, on the 12 minute, yes, you may think, oh, this was a close. TJ, we closed. That's not an SFP, that's a close. But look at the 10 minute. On the 10 minute, it's an SFP. On the 5 minute, let's see, even on the 5 minute, it's an SFP. So if you were looking on a 5 minute chart here, you could have definitely entered this trade here. All right, so what happened next? So if we stick to the 5 minute, what happened next? Bang, 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 bang. Now that's your signal that, we're about to get a rotation. Price is about to turn around. We've had the flip. Okay, should we wait for a retracement? Yes, that's probably best. So look, we retrace up. All right, that's when you look to enter that trade. Now you're thinking, right, at this point, I'm in. I can enter the trade there. Obviously, we're not entering a long, but I can say, okay, cool. I'm entering a short here. I'm going to cover that high. All right. And I'm going to ride it down. I'm going to ride it down. So let's take a look at what this looks like on a 15-minute. Okay. So let's see what happens after. Do we go higher? No, we don't. We break structure once. Bang. We have a tiny little retracement, and then we break structure again, and then we also break structure from that range low, and that's where we are right now. Okay, so big, 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 fat, huge congratulations if you took that one. All right, if you did take that one or you were watching that one, feel free to add your comments, hit a like, follow, subscribe, etc. Whatever you want to do. All right, so here we go. That's that trade we could have entered if you were watching this. Remember what I said last week? Well, last week I said, listen, this whole entire region is supply. Okay, this whole entire region is supply. Initially, we had a daily zone here, which we refined to the 12-hour zone. But this whole region is supply. So if we get a flip in market structure anywhere in this region, that's a viable trade. Similarly, if we get a flip in market structure anywhere in this region, that's a viable trade, okay? And so we got the most juiciest, the most obvious flip in market structure here, and that's exactly why we've come down here. And not only have we come down, you're probably thinking, why did we come down so fast? Why? Look how aggressive that is. That's just a flurry, a flush of black bear bars. Why is it so quick? Well, the reason it's so quick is because look what we built. Look at this beautiful, beautiful, nice curved liquidity over here. All right. So all of these are just stop losses waiting and begging to get run. And that's why price went bang and flushed all the way down. And not just that, we also have these, trend line of liquidity that we can see here as well. So we've reclaimed that. We've got rid of those guys, got rid of those guys. Okay, these guys who longed from down here, from the old demand range, they're still in play. But, they're probably at break even now. Probably at break even now. All right. So if you took that one, very, very well done. Let's have a look at our risk to reward analysis. How well would you have been doing? So let's say, you got into that trade. Chances are you probably got in there when you got that reconfirmation. Okay, stop loss up there. So not the best, not the best, not the best. Okay, about 3x, not the best. So best. So if you had 1K, you just made 3K. If you had 2K, you just made 6K from that. Okay. But that's still a good trade. That's still a very good trade. All right. So where does that leave us? And what am I looking to do next is the question. What are we looking to do next? Well, I would also just like to let you know that, listen, even though we've had that flip in market structure from this trend line, yeah, and even though this may be the case where we've got a low, a high, a low, and then we have this high that we're seeing here for another low heading down here, even though this may be the case, yes, you know, there is still reason for us to head up. There are still reasons for us to head up. First of all, reason number one is this guy over here, this 12-hour zone. Reason number two is this guy over here. Okay? This guy over here. All right, the extreme, that last lower high. We haven't quite taken these guys out yet. Yeah? That's another reason to head up. Reason number three, we've still got this trend line of liquidity. Now, am I saying we're going to head back up? No, not necessarily. And in fact, looking at the chart, the fact we have broken structure bearishly so aggressively, it decreases the probability that we're heading back up. It definitely decreases the probability that we are about to head back up. Okay, but it's still a possibility. It may not be probable, but it's still possible. So, based on the way the market's presented right now, all right, how could we be looking to play this? Well, first of all, we could be looking to play this as a potential PO3. Now, this is something I spoke about last week. We talked about a potential PO3. And I'm going to go in a bit more depth here so you can see clearly what I mean by potential PO3. Now, this doesn't happen very often, especially with Bitcoin, but especially in this configuration as well. What you're seeing here is we're getting a potential PO3 as part of some sort of what would you call this? As part of some sort of pullback, right? Because look, we've got over here, we've got our accumulation. Okay, we'll call that a nice accumulation. Where's your accumulation template? Bang. Okay. Over here, this could potentially simply be our manipulation. Okay, the internal manipulation. So where's our manipulation template? Bang. Okay, nice color over there. Just to get us ready for a nice bearish expansion. Now, where's our expansion template? Bang. Okay. PO3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. If you haven't learned this, and I don't teach you, one to one, feel free to just Google this online. It's all online, and you can definitely learn how this works. Okay. So this could be a PO3 at play, which would suggest that price could be looking to break structure here and head back down here. And usually when you get a PO3, that expansion leg down is quite aggressive. And we've had quite a lot of PO3s over the last 2 weeks. So if you backtest that and take a look, we've definitely had a few PO3s over the last 2 weeks. All right. Now, also what I was saying last week, for those of you who follow this, is hey, we've got tap number one of a potential Wyckoff model. Tap number two, and could this be our tap number three? Again, they're not the most basic, obvious, TA analysis that you'll see, online. But could this be what's a play? Where this is your tap number three that eventually takes you down. Now, not only does it take you down, it helps you sweep these guys out. Look at this nice little curve liquidity that we're seeing now. It helps you sweep these guys out. Okay. That would be a nice play, wouldn't it? That would be a nice play. Now, yes, we could come down and break this structure here. That's really bearish. That's when the whole YouTube is gonna go crazy. But we could flip structure here, so have a break in structure here, retraced, and come all the way back up for these all-time highs. Yeah, that could be what we're doing. All right, but enough of that. Let's talk about what the next trade is. As presently constructed, TJ, what are you looking for next? Where is your next trade coming from? And how are you going to capitalize from this market as presently constructed? Okay, so if I'm looking at this chart now, I'm zooming into the 15-minute. No, I'm zooming into the 4-hour, and I'm saying, right, we have just flipped market structure bearishly on the 4-hour. That's what I'm saying. We've reacted off this 12-hour supply. Okay. We've flipped market structure bearishly on the 4-hour. Let's get rid of this. And we're looking for a potential. I'm hoping for a potential 4-hour retracement. Because as far as our 4-hour structure goes, it looks like this. We have higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, lower low, So we have that flip in market structure. All right, with the break-in structure being here. Ideally, I would like to see a retracement. The deeper, the better. Why? Because the deeper your retracement, the better your risk to reward. I would like to see a retracement that reacts at this 4-hour zone before it continues down. I will short the hell out of it. If we get something like that, I'm in. I'm definitely in for that one. Okay. Obviously, I would like to see a flipping market structure on this expansion leg as well as we head up. Okay. So that's idea number one. That's what comes to mind immediately. Now, that may not necessarily happen. We may not necessarily get a retracement that deep. Okay. Bitcoin does not have to retrace that deep. So where else could it potentially retrace? Well, why don't we look at the expansion leg on the way down? Well, the expansion leg looks like this: lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Okay. So we could simply come up here and retrace here. We could simply come to this block, retrace there, come to this block, retrace there. Okay. Definitely. All right. So therefore, I'm looking at a retracement from any one of those areas. And to add just a bit more juice to that area, I'm going to take the fixed range tool and see, okay, within this last range, where were there a lot of volume? Okay. Where's the high volume zone? The high volume zone looks to be around here. Look, we've got the POC coming out around this region. So perhaps I'm going to give a bit more oomph, a bit more emphasis to this region here. Okay, perhaps I give a bit more emphasis to that region there. Okay, then I may also say, okay, well I've got that. What else can I look at? Maybe I can look at what Mr. Fibonacci is saying. Well, what is Mr. Fibonacci saying? Mr. Fibonacci is saying if you take a pull from that high to that low, you're likely to get a retracement at this zone. You see? So Mr. Fibonacci is saying watch out for that 4-hour block. Okay, but I'll be honest with you, I'm going to wait to see if I get a flip in market structure before I enter my trade. If I don't see a flip, there's no reason entering the trade. Okay, so that's kind of my next play. So I'm not going to go and put 600 zones here for you to watch out for, simply because the chart's going to look messy. But that's potentially my next play. Now, it could be a situation. Oh, these are so aggressive. Look at those aggressive bars. All right, it could be a situation where, all right, maybe we don't get that. Maybe we don't get a flip that deep. Maybe we only just come down here and carry on up. Okay. Well, in that case, what you want to do is you want to wait to see, can I follow the chain on the way down? Can I follow the chain all the way down? And what do I mean by the chain? Remember, we talked about the PO3. We said if we actually reclaim this range again, so this green line, we could be in for a nice flurry, a nice flush down all the way down here. Okay. So we said we could be looking to do that. Now, in the case that that happens, what do you think the market structure is going to look like? Well, the market structure will look, you may not realize it in time, but when you look back at it, you realize market structure simply did this. It simply created lower lows and lower highs on the way down. Okay, same way on the way up. It created, you may not realize this is what it was doing, but it was simply creating higher highs and higher lows all the way to the range high. Okay, so in that case, why not look to enter a short from catching this guy? Why not catch 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 this guy? Okay, so anything in this region is fair play. It's fair play, but the lower and lower we get, the less inclined I am to short that. Why? Because A, we're headed towards a few targets, and we're headed towards the range low, and we're headed towards discount of our range. Okay, if this is our premium, this is our discount. Okay, so I'm definitely keeping an eye out for that as we head. So if obviously I'm going through these ideas quite quickly, so feel free to pause the video, feel free to go over it again, take notes, rewind it, fast forward it, however you please. So that's trade number one, a short from this region. Okay. Now, I'm also going to be waiting to see what happens at this low, because price has obviously come up in this fashion: high, low, high, low, high. This is still a key region to watch. Could we get a bounce here and flip in market structure again all the way up? Okay, that's still a possibility. So I'm going to be waiting to see what happens at that low. Now, if we break through that low, That's going to be another reference point for retracement to enter that next leg down. Then if we break through that leg, perhaps that takes us down here. We break through that guy. I'm going to be waiting for that retracement to enter the next leg down. All right, that's simply how you need to play these markets. You need to be quite malleable in the way you think, and you need to be a bit more flexible in your approach. Now, yes, you've missed the initial entry. That's fine. That's fine. But are you going to sit there and just, weep about missing that initial entry? No. Why? Because the target of this trade, similar to what we had here, look, we had that tag there. It came all the way down here. We had this tag there. It came all the way down here. We had this tag there. It came all the way down here. Okay. So what's to say this isn't going to come all the way down here? And if it is, you're still very early in that trade. You're still very, very early in that trade. Okay. So that's definitely something to bear in mind. All right. So that's kind of the bearish case. That's how we're following this down if it comes down. Now, what if it goes up? So what if price comes and does this? Let's see if this is clear on the 1 hour. Excuse my drawing here. It's not the tidiest, but hopefully you guys follow what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's say we come down here, and as price comes down here, it's creating lower lows and lower highs. Okay, it comes to this green box, and let's say we get a flip. Let's say we have a flip in structure here with a retracement. Will you look to take this up? Yes, I will. If we get a flip here, I'm also looking to long that. Okay. If we get a flip here, that makes me think, all right, well, we could simply just be getting a flip, okay, in order to mitigate this old zone. Yes. But we could also be getting a flip to come back up for this trend line again. All right. And if we were to do that, that could give us a nice Trinity Model 2. Now, what does that look like? That Trinity Model 2 looks like this: a high, a low, a high, a break in structure, okay, and then a lower high for that continuation up. Now, if this starts to come all the way up to test this high, I'm going to be really hesitant shorting that. I'm going to think, okay, perhaps we're looking to break through that trend line. All right, in that case, I will say, okay, why don't I catch a retest of the trend line? Why don't I wait for it to break the trend line? Look to see what it does at this 12-hour zone, and then perhaps look to do something like this. Okay, that's what I would be looking out for personally. But yeah, so today is more of a narrative. I don't really want to give you clear cut, clear set setup / areas to look out for, because I don't really feel like it's appropriate today. But I do feel like if you follow the logic, if you understand what I'm saying, there's no reason why you can't enter perhaps the continuation down, the SFP of this low. So this low on the way up, okay? And if we come back up, enter on that retracement. That's kind of what I'm looking out for. Maybe tomorrow we'll have more clear signals if I feel like it's fitting. But anyways, have a look at those levels. Definitely look for those zones. Set your alerts in those zones, and we'll look to capitalize this week. If you found this information useful, if this is just giving you a tiny bit more clarity as to what's going on, what's happening, feel free to hit that follow button to stay ahead of the curve. And I will see you guys. See you tomorrow. And if not tomorrow, I'll see you on Wednesday.